want to make sure I'm good with the time. So about how long should I run?
5 minutes.
That's great. Yeah, I can do it in 5 minutes.
VMware.
VMware, guys. Have you heard of it? All right. How do I? Let's see. How do I plug in? Is there an option for that? You don't have a dongle.
No.
Okay.
I got a VGA dongle.
I got one in my bag. Yeah, I'll. So, thank you very much for allowing me to come to your country today. Mine's sort of in peril, so I don't know if I'm going to go back. Everybody's got a couch I can borrow.
Are you invoking disaster recovery?
I might need to find a Canadian lawyer before I answer that question. But what I am going to talk about, and I will, I'll make sure I'm respectful of time here, guys. So as they mentioned, my name is Mike Maxey. I'm responsible for our emerging products worldwide. So I have teams in each of the regions that help to launch our new initiatives. And something that you will hear coming out of our executives' mouths a great deal over the past 6 to 9 months is what we're doing in end-user computing and around the digital transformation. They keep saying this thing Workspace ONE over and over. And for folks that have been in the data center for years, you got, don't care. I just want to give you kind of a quick 15, 20 minutes about what that is for you, why it's relevant for what your end users go through on a daily basis, and you as well. I've been watching for the past hour and a half, and all of you are digital workers. You've got your iPhone or Android. You probably have an iPad in your hand. You're not in the office, but you're still working, right? And that's phenomenal. It's truly freedom. Whenever I was younger, my dad would crank up the truck.
Oh, it's not freedom. It's tethering.
It's not freedom.
It's tethering.
In this
724.
sense, though, like instead of having to go to the office and be there 8 to 6 every day, you can take some work with you and go out and get, about your life, right?
Have you met my manager?
Let's talk. I don't know how to get this thing to shoot. Is it? Do I need to press a button?
Windows P.
Oh, if it's an HDMI, then it's definitely, I'm on the VGA. Yeah, if it was using this, I'm probably, Microsoft Surfaces don't have the native HDMI on it. Oh, look, what a gentleman. Thank you, sir.
A dongle for every occasion.
Isn't that wonderful? It's like you make the device much smaller, and then now I got to carry around all these things.
Yeah, I know. So where's the game?
And then they change the plug that you need every 2 years, right? I bought the new Google Pixel phone. I'm a big fan of Google, and that uses USB-C. So like, great. I can't use any of my chargers that I've had for the past couple of years. Okay, so that's the introduction. Like, I think, this is the essence of what I think a lot of folks that are in VMUG and, our longtime customers are seeing. There really are two worlds out there where we have infrastructure that has to be managed. It's privacy and, data sensitive type information. We're doing, we're going along the digital transformation journey already with 2 of your 5 largest banks. There are absolutely pieces of information that should never cross international lines into my home country or anywhere else, right? Especially behind the Great Firewall in China. But there are operational efficiencies that you can gain by leveraging things that are born in the cloud, native, SaaS. How do you do that? Right? In this world where you've got folks that are coming out and they still need to connect to the office and still need to use their devices in the mobile cloud era. And on the other side of it, we've got these apps that we've built, that we've been operating in the data center, heck, some of them are .NET 4.0, they might be green screen, stuff that you may never get off of, right? It's core to your business. We got to make that very much available to our end users, no matter where they are. And what we've actually seen, and the reason you'll see a lot of my bosses and such standing on stage going workspace and hybrid cloud, is because we're seeing across the globe, that there is this shift from a network to really, instead of going inside a physical building, who I am becomes my identity, right? Like my identity is how I get to the network. And on top of that, you have employees that are bucking the trend of being issued a corporate laptop, and that's what they use, right? I loved using my MacBook for a long time until I got this in January. This thing runs Excel much better than a Mac. I still miss my Mac, but man, this thing can run Excel. So, but this is mine, right? I want to use what device I want to use. I don't want to necessarily have to use a Dell laptop. That'll start a rock fight around the office, by the way. But this is the world we're living in, right? Where you got to take care of the people, the apps, and the devices that they want to use. And as we're seeing this trend, and here in Canada, you guys led it. You had the BlackBerry, right? BlackBerry completely rattled the cage and said, "Hey, you can really start to work anywhere, anytime. Just carry that, right?" Man, I miss the physical keyboard. I have fat man fingers, and
For me to touch screen in my fingers, I can press here and it's next door to the register, so I need a keyboard.
I hear you. Yeah, I miss it. They're getting better with the talk. Like I could talk into it and it'll transcribe. So as you see, it starts with email, but then it goes up this really kind of arc towards value. Our marketing people love these graphs, but what this is telling you is email is great. Checking email is one thing, but actually being able to be in front of a customer with a mobile device and do engaging type presentations and support or triage, that really helps your organization be more efficient. It saves money, generates more revenue, and that's where the customer journey is. As I mentioned with the banks that we're helping here in Toronto, they actually see a tangible benefit, about 22% higher conversion rate whenever they can sit in front of you with an iPad and actually map out your finances and interactive graphs and such right there. Right? And they see conversion to customer is much faster. So, how do we really help that? And it comes down to this concept of unified endpoint management, where, as this world collides of the client-server, Windows-heavy world with the brave new Google, Apple-centric world, and Windows 10, which essentially is a mobile operating system. I'll talk a little bit about that in a second. Those are the types of things that we're watching for you, our customers. And so there's these, there's big pushes here to kind of unify this and make it, as we look and see SCCM isn't quite coherent in this world, but it does well on the old Windows 7, Windows XP world. How do you make sure that at the control point is the identity and the unification of the endpoint management, just to make it easy on our administrators and end users? All right, so I could probably park here for a minute and take some questions. When you see Pat Gelsinger and Sanjay Poonen, this was kind of a back of the napkin thing for Sanjay 3 or 4 years ago when he started at VMware from SAP. His vision was Workspace ONE, and it's built upon any operating system, right? That's our advantage at VMware. We don't necessarily manufacture an operating system, so Apple, Google, and Microsoft are going to work with us all the same. On top of that, network security and virtualization. You hear a lot about NSX. How do we segment the data center and make sure that you get the right pieces of information at the right time and not the wrong stuff? I was on a public Wi-Fi network back here, kind of doing some things. And if I would have tried to get on ADP to manage some payroll stuff for any of my employees, it's going to stop me. It's going to say, whoa, hold on. You're on a public network. You don't do this right now, right? It can also prompt me to accept some additional policies, kick on my VPN. It's all conditional and it can tell exactly who I am, what level of the organization I am, and what kind of security I should kick on. So this is fantastic technology when you think about how data is not just in your data center, but traveling in many, many places. All of this, unified endpoint management, identity, security, and compliance, and Windows as a service are the themes that we hear from you, customers, right? What are the projects that are going on? It's this consolidation play, and I heard, a couple of people mention DLP, DR, how do we make sure that the data is encrypted and controlled and we don't get it leaked out, because we have people using 1.5 million apps in our customer base, right? So if we count how many different on-prem apps people are using, how many of these native SaaS, born in the cloud apps they're using, how many custom developed applications, we did a scan, it's 1.5 million different applications, right? Unique to their business, or maybe they're commercial off the shelf. So the complexity requires someone like VMware in the market to be able to deliver and say, look, you know what? We want to be the management layer. We don't necessarily want to build the operating system that you're going to use. We don't want to build necessarily the app that you're going to use. Although we provide some encrypted container-like functionality. Look, our encrypted email container is not going to be for everybody. If you're a bank, you probably need that. But if you're, a shoe retailer, your emails get out about your Nike or Under Armour shoes. It's not a big deal, right? Your end users are going to want to use something that's really, more commercial feel. We do offer stuff. So that is the way that we're addressing this digital challenge. And, it's really about all the use cases, whether I'm going to stage a device for you and hand you that new Windows 10 laptop, right? All the way down to a fully, bring your own. Hey, I want to bring a MacBook, and that's the way it's going to be. I want to use my Android at work. We do ruggedized management. So you think about the blue-collar worker in a factory or in a shipping sort of facility, scanning things and making sure that the elevator that they're working on is the right one. All of these devices that people are using to do business, we're able to manage those and bring them onto a unified platform and help you deliver those applications no matter where they are. If they're born in the cloud, or if you're custom deving them, they're running on your servers, behind your firewall, and your iron. You need to have that native experience for them. So I'll spin forward to that. Okay, marketing's got some identity challenges. Something that you'll hear a lot about is this notion of identity management. So instead of having this lockdown experience on the device where it's like before you can do anything, you have to accept all sorts of policies and MDM and everything like that. VMware has really taken a different approach. VMware, their mindset has been, look, if you want to do a level 1 based activity, checking your email, you don't need an MDM profile on your device. But as I mentioned, if you're going to go to employee records and personal data, I'm going to stop you and say, hey, you need to enroll your device to do this. And then it becomes your choice, based upon your identity and who you are in the company, what you're going to do. So it's that behavioral-based and identity context that gives us the ability to segment out how you use your devices and enroll. If you can't tell, I'm trying to hit a time target here. This is something that I always like to hit. It's what we've developed is this unified app catalog. As you can see here, in this single portal, you can get to virtual desktops, right? So I think everybody I talk to, they've got that old app that still needs IE6 Explorer, access. Well, how do you do that? You can virtualize the app, you can virtualize the desktop to get to that app. And look, this is available on any device. I think this screenshot probably came from a Mac, but it's the same look and feel app catalog on an iPhone, on an Android, on a BlackBerry. It doesn't matter what device you're coming from. I can get you to Office 365 or Salesforce.com, as well as right next to your virtualized desktops and thin apps. We integrate with XenApp as well, so if you've already got the Citrix infrastructure. Look, obviously they compete with us, but we're not here to tell you, hey, rip all that stuff out. You can create a unified app catalog and deliver these services to your end user in one place without having to have a whole bunch of passwords here. No password needed. Well, one authentication or a multi-factor authentication is all it would take. Okay, here's some demo, some mobile experience today. We do a lot of Office 365 migrations, so whenever your end users are getting, bowled over with passwords, that's always a great thing, and it's a value to them to say, look, we're eliminating passwords. You can one-touch into these apps, thumbprint if you want. We can do multi-factor authentication if your security team requires it, just based on text messages, and get you into the apps that you need. These are all mobile use cases. We do this on desktop as well. I'm cruising here, folks. Hey, Office 365 deployments, Workspace ONE. So I talked about that. How many folks are going through the Office 365 thing up here in Canada? Yeah, is it taking on? I've been watching that. Obviously, our financial customers here are reticent of it because it's cloud and you don't know where the data is going to end up. But it is something that has a lot of value to it if you can truly get to it. So, I'll kind of hit this for a second. Because the password is dying and it needs to die a painful death, right? We've had way too many passwords for way too long. It's just asinine, right? So when we can really have the device become your identity, right? Maybe your PIN code that you get into the device, that's your multi-factor. Guess what? I wear a watch. If I have this watch and my device in my hand, that should be dual factor now, right? And I dare you to confiscate my watch and my device and know my PIN code or my fingerprint all at once. It's just so that gives us the opportunity to get rid of passwords and all those 27 apps you just saw. You can get into it with a single touch, whether that's by SAML authentication, whether it's by password vaulting, OAuth. We support all the protocols. So VMware verifies the multi-factor I spoke about. This can be set up through text message. If your CISO team says, hey, we need to do advanced multi-factor authentication on certain apps, we can do that. This is not an all or nothing. If you have specific apps, maybe Workday or PeopleSoft or something like that, then it's just hit it, sends a text message. So if I get to it from my laptop, it'll send a text message to my phone. I accept it. It keeps me going. So this is ma'am, and I think I'll probably hit a point here where I'll stop for a second and take questions. How about Windows 10? You guys want to hear about what we're doing for Windows 10?
Sure.
Okay. All right. I don't want to delay you from your lunch. All right, so Win 10 is a big thing for us. As I mentioned, the really underpinnings of Windows 10 is a mobile operating system. You can manage it by enrollment and push policies to it, very similar to how Apple architected their iOS and how Android is architected as well. And so what we look for is this modern way to manage any operating system from a single console and simplify the ability to onboard, offboard people, push apps to them, pull apps, all of those things. We really have seen a massive growth in this space over the past 4 months. When Windows 10 was first coming out, a lot of people were standoffish about it. They did some testing, and there is a flood of folks coming to us saying, okay, we have AirWatch. You guys manage a fleet of mobile devices for us. SCCM's got some rust on it, but we love Office 365. How do we do that? And that ties in with what I was talking about Office 365, but also this, shift from traditional management of Windows, which all of you have lived probably for a long time, very high touch, very costly, to, very flexible. Any device, if I have Windows 10 and I want to switch over to a Mac, I can do that. I unenroll the Windows 10, hand it in, enroll my Mac, and I pushed all the apps and credentials that I need. Very simple cloud-based management. and being able to consolidate it with all of the features that, not just from a device management perspective, but app management, identity management, all from a single plane. A lot of value there. So here's the Windows 10 and VMware AirWatch, the technology we acquired from AirWatch a couple of years ago. Many of you may be familiar with that. Maybe not if you're using a BlackBerry still, but hey man, more power to you.
Actually, I have a comment. I was at Microsoft Tech Summit last week,
Oh yeah,
and they were talking about SCCM and managing mobile devices, and was talking about iOS and Android phones, and of course their own dog food, Windows phones.
oh yeah.
So I stuck my hand up and says, "Well, what about BlackBerry?" "Oh, we don't support that anymore. It's a dead technology." Really? There's more BlackBerries out there than there'll ever be Windows phones.
Absolutely, there is. Yeah. Yeah.
What's with that?
Thank you. And that's kind of what we hear about the vision. Look, Microsoft's phenomenal at Office. They have some good server technology, phenomenal at Office. I mean, those are the things that, we don't care about that. But whenever they start trying to manage any operating system, is Google really going to work with Microsoft, or is Apple going to work with Microsoft closely to? It just won't happen. And by the way, they've still got this political war where they want to have a phone operating system.
Keep dreaming.
Yeah, the war might be over, guys. But I don't. Not my dog.
The only ones who had Windows phones were Microsoft employees, and not even all of them.
Yeah, right. Right. I think there was an article where Nadella was using an iPhone, and he was checking his iPhone on an interview, and they were like, called him out on it. But yeah, I mean, I don't need to drain this. You guys understand, sort of where we play not just for Windows 10, but we have backwards compatibility through app virtualization, Horizon, and things like that. Interview in the end user computing space around virtualizing apps and desktops. We'll probably be familiar with that. So I guess I'll stop there, not to keep anybody from a good meal and too long. I know you've been in here for a while. Any kind of specific questions about what we're doing with end-user computing, mobile applications, devices, any of that type of stuff?
What's happening with vCloud? Is that dying?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
No. What we have to do is make sure that we're giving our customers the agnostic approach that we have to take, right? There was some previous leadership that thought, okay, we are going to be vCloud Air and all that, but that ship had already really sailed.
Right.
Are you recording me?
Yeah, that's recording.
The timing issues with it maybe weren't favorable to the company. So we recognize that there are plenty of advantages for our customers of supporting IBM software, Amazon Web Services. vCloud Air will continue to be something that we support. As a matter of fact, we're doing desktops as a service on vCloud Air, and it's one of, with Horizon Air, which maybe you've heard about, continues to be a huge focus for us. So that is not an investment that's going away. Don't let anybody tell you that. It's absolutely something. It's just going to be for the use cases that really make sense versus where Amazon's just, they've made fantastic investments, and so is that.
Well, the Microsoft event was pretty much an Azure sales pitch.
Yeah. Big investments. Yes, sir.
Back to that slide when we talked about identity. Is VMware positioned itself to wait it out until the field plays out who is the identity comes up on top, or are you guys creating your own identity solution to solve the password process?
About 5 years ago, we acquired TriCipher, which is an identity management for single sign-on, some provisioning, user management, and access management. And that you'll see in VxRail and into vSphere some. Now, that technology has been extended out to really kind of the device management paradigm, where I can manage single sign-on based upon certificates on the device and things like that. So I know who you are, and then I can manage what you have access to. I can provision you as a user. So day one, you have birthright apps that you're supposed to have, and I can automatically provision those accounts and create them, connected with Active Directory, or even with some sort of HR system or payroll system. So I'm over answering your question. Yes, absolutely. Identity and access management is something that VMware is going to play strongly in. It's a very broad space, and we don't check all the boxes, but when it comes to user access, unified application catalog, managing passwords, we want to be the leader in that, as a matter of fact. So there's a huge push there. We're actually growing amazingly well in this space, and we think by the end of this year, we might be the second largest from a revenue perspective in the world in that space after only playing in it for about a year and a half. It's taken amazing customer traction. Anything else? Okay. Hey, I'll be around for a minute if anybody wants to, wrap on the side. Thank you very much for letting me just kind of give you the overview of what we're doing in end-user computing. Obviously, ask your local rep what Workspace ONE is and how it could benefit you. Thank you very much.
All right, so we have a number of giveaways over here. So this one is for the Apple TV. So then after that, take the rest of the cards over here. We'll go through because we have a whole bunch of giveaways in the back over there. So here, I'll let you look.
Sure.
So this is for the Apple TV.
Kevin Prince.
We don't actually have it.
That's cohesive. He's got it back here.
Oh, all right. If anybody else wants to throw some cards in here for the
What do you just want to draw a bunch and just have him pick something?
yeah, sure.
Maybe you want to raffle off.
No. Okay. The first winner is second winner.
Mitharshan Negendrum.
Okay. Feel free to go to the back and pick whatever you want.
Aram Yeltsin. All right.
Okay. Congratulations.
Trevor Jackson. Inya. Inya?
Yeah.
All right. Ranish Nanda. Got like everyone here. Oh, Joel Lubay.
No.
Joel. Some stuff back there.
We got lots.
We'll keep going until someone yells at us. Ravi Rawana. Oh yeah, we got VMUG Advantages too. So if you guys want a VMUG Advantage subscription instead of a cup or whatever, just let us know. Yash. Yeah, perfect. Kishan Samaru.
I didn't put a card in there.
You still have some things back over there? We'll keep on going right to the end.
Yeah, we got VMUG Advantages anyways.
Yeah.
Ava Avali.
Yeah,
Ava Avali.
I want that one.
You want VMUG? All right. I'm gonna
That one's like
set
VMUG.
this aside. Yeah. Hugh Gamble.
Last but not least.
Roman.
Yeah. Alright. You have stuff in the back over there. Or if you don't want any of the fantastic things, we've got. Yeah, we still have another VMUG Advantage.
Yeah.
I'll take it. I didn't put a card in.
Sure.
Done.
All right. Need my name?
Just need your email.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just give
it
Yeah.
to
Mike.